I
is.
can't.
Pettis is a great man.
I was out knocking in those rural.
He's a great guy.
I was out knocking in
He
those
is.
rural areas, and I enjoyed it. I reconnected with a lot of old friends and families
Right.
that I knew.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people you
exactly.
Yeah, you may come to school with, as young as you are. It's great.
And loved it. But you get back into the city, and it's a little more. Folks are fantastic, want to talk about the issues, but you get a lot more of those thank you buys. The folks out in the rural areas love to have the conversations, and I told Pettis I see exactly why you're their county commissioner.
Sure,
and he enjoys that.
But he's the home guy.
Yeah,
he's born and raised. He Rockvale School. I'm telling you, I went out there, and I've told the story before. I'll tell it again, but about a month or so before they were going to open, the guys were finishing up out there. They were moving all the equipment out, all that good stuff. And I said, man, this thing is a monster. It is huge, And I think I got to tell you, I don't think we ain't seen nothing yet. I think the next one will be even bigger. The next high school, they're just massive and they're beautiful. I mean, they really are.
When you're going to have to start going up, even more so than
I'm
Rockville,
afraid you're right.
especially up on the north side of town. They're struggling to find land up there.
I
and
know.
when you do, it's probably going to have to go up. And that's a new challenge that they're facing, and once it adds a little additional cost because they save a lot of money by reusing a lot of these plans. And as land gets more sparse and
Sure.
you don't have the cream of the crop pick, you're going to have to get a little creative on the type of school you build.
Right, and that the elevators are going to have to be used, or the old stairway, which they're all kids, they can handle that, but. It's just expensive, and you can't say it nicely. They're expensive, and it's going to get more expensive as we go.
And here's what frustrates, and I think the state of Tennessee is in pretty dang good shape. A lot of good wins, a lot of good policy, but you have folks that love to run around bragging about budget surplus here, budget surplus there,
right?
Brag about tax cut here, tax cut there. Fantastic, great. I think we've done well. The problem is, and it's not just in Rutherford. I think Rutherford's unique, but
Sure.
Every other growth county, and even the impoverished counties that aren't performing as well as some of these growth counties in a county like Rutherford are bursting at the seams and struggling to figure out how they're going to provide. These services that they provide are constitutionally and statutorily mandated.
Yes.
That nobody woke up one morning and said,
people don't realize that.
Said I want to do this on the county level and make y'all pay for it via property tax. They're constitutionally or statutory mandated, and that gets left out a lot.
And Rob Mitchell would be the first to tell you. I mean,
Rob's a wealth of information.
Yes, he is, and it's not up to him. It's not. I mean, he's charged with doing certain jobs that he and his staff have to do,
Yeah, and sometimes, little. I'm sure he always loves the time when the new letters go out with the reappraisal with his name on top.
Well,
I don't wish that on nobody. Nobody.
That's when he tells me he's got to brown bag it a lot in the first couple of months until the pain wears off. And last time, every time I say I got my love letter, Rob, thanks. But I've always said this, and I meant it, and we had a big increase. There's no doubt about it. But if I have to pay another $150, $200 a year, that's a year. I mean, Tucker. I mean, I know my wife and I've been married 43 years now. You can spend that on a nice meal.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody complain about it. And I understand that, but if I have to pay $150, $200 extra a year so we can have good schools, good roads, good services, infrastructure, which we have to have, and it's just not sexy, hey, that's the way it is. When we built our house, at that time, 27, 28 years ago, I don't even know, there was, I think it was $2,000. I think we were talking earlier before we came in. That's it. I got to pay, I'm not building my house. You're going to charge me an extra $2,000. I paid it, and I was glad to put. I mean, wish we hadn't had to, but you got to do it.
But you shouldn't. We shouldn't be facing these property tax increases. We should not. Period.
Right.
I personally believe property taxes are one of the more immoral taxes there are to begin with.
Sure.
They've always existed to maintain services, and now they're being used to provide new services, and that makes it that adds to that level of immorality around that form of taxation. It really does.
You mentioned talking about maybe charging so much per square foot on an impact fee basis, if that's what it comes to.
It's up to the locals. I
Sure.
think they need to have that ability. It can be determined amongst the county commission, who has to provide these services that are mandated. Can be determined by them, and that's how the process should work. If they do something outrageous, they should get. We have election time. And they won't.
Yep.
Or I don't believe they will. And I know a lot of that. We have a lot of really good folks who want to tackle these issues that we're facing and the decisions. And I don't fault anybody for the decisions that were made 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Sure.
Completely different time, new challenges, new different problems, different challenges. But the decisions that we make right now are dang near the final decisions. We're getting close to final decision time.
Sure.
when we're talking about planning and zoning and the cost associated with it. And we got to be mindful. And I'm not as much on the state level, but I'm a planning and zoning nerd. I could sit here and talk about it for hours.
Right.
But we really are in a place right now where we have to start having those conversations about how to protect what we have left in our community. There's these rural communities are special. They really are.
They
really are. And I think that storm
Wonderful
last month
people.
proved that even more so.
People. Yeah.
Just wonderful folks, and it's a different way of life and a special way of life. And those decisions that are made right now, we're getting close to the final decision time.
I think I had one of my guests, and I forget who it was, said, we've just kicked the can down the road so long that it's become a barrel, and it hurts to kick it now. And you can't just keep kicking the can down the road. And I think that's what happened with this 15-16% increase. Every politician, no, there'll be no tax increase in this administration. Okay, the bully for you, great. That's great. But if you will explain to people why you need this and why you've got to have a half a cent here, 1% here, a 1/4% here, just if you'll explain to them why, most people will, okay, I don't like it, but we got to do it. It's that simple. I mean, it's like I said, when we built our house, there was a fee there. I've got to pay it. It's that simple.
And they did that last time. Folks
Sure.
know the cause of that. They know the cause of that, and it's inaction from the state to allow the county. And nobody's saying it's a silver bullet. We haven't talked about it, and I'll come back on and we'll do it. But no one's saying that this is the only revenue source that has to be looked at to pay for the cost of growth. Nobody's saying that. Nobody wants that to be the case.
Right.
But this has to be a start. And you can't pay lip service to it. Something has to get done. There's been a lot of personalities and egos, I think, on all sides of it that have prevented something from getting done.
Yeah.
And we gotta do it fresh. And I think we can get something over the finish line that really provides that relief. I do.
Tucker, I appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate you, and I want to have you back, okay? And win, lose, or draw, you hang in there.
I appreciate
it. And I appreciate you putting your name on a ballot. I appreciate anyone that does it. I've never done it, and probably now never will. But, when you come up to the radio station and stop and get a glass of tea or whatever, and the little girl at the window says, "Have a good show, Mr. Raymer." I said, "Well, thank you very much." She said, "Try not to make anybody mad."
Can't promise.
Tucker Markham. Remember him. If you're in his area, look him up, because I'm sure he's going to be looking you up in the next 53 days. Okay? Ed Raymer, glad to be with you. Jackson, thanks for your help on the board. And I'll tell you what, till next Sunday night, I'll catch you down the road. Good night.